Rolex raised its prices twice this year, and the cheapest way into the brand now costs more than ever. But here's what nobody tells you. The cheapest Rolex on paper is almost impossible to buy at the store price, while one watch on this list, and only one, can actually be bought at retail today. No waiting list, no games. And at the very end, I'll show you a backdoor into Rolex ownership that costs less than anything in the current catalog. These are the 8 cheapest Rolex watches in 2026, and the real prices behind them. Quick context before we start, because this year matters. In January, Rolex pushed prices up around 7% across the board. Then in June, they raised gold models again, but left steel alone. Every watch on this list is steel, so what you're about to hear is the full damage for 2026. And to show you how far the entry point has moved, the cheapest Rolex cost around $5,100 in 2020. Today, you'll see, we're counting down from the most expensive of the cheap seats all the way to the single cheapest Rolex money can buy. We start with the Datejust 36, $8,150 retail. This is the watch that made Rolex Rolex. Born in 1945, it was the first self-winding waterproof watch with a date window, and the 36mm case is the original size, unchanged in spirit for 80 years. On the used market, it trades around $8,500, only about 5% over retail, which by Rolex standards is calm. Here's the sleeper stat though. This exact reference has gained about 27% in value over 5 years, quietly beating most of the flashier models. The most boring Rolex is one of the best performing ones. Let that sink in. At the same retail price, $8,150, sits the Air King. Same money, completely different story. The name goes back to the 1940s, honoring Royal Air Force pilots, and the dial still carries that aviation instrument look with the big 3, 6, and 9. Now here's why this watch matters more than any other on this list. The Air King trades on the used market at basically retail price. Not 20% over, not 30, less than 0.5% difference. In 2026, this is the only steel sport Rolex you can realistically walk into a store and buy. The Submariner has a waiting list. The GMT has a waiting list. The Air King is sitting in the display case. Watch people call it the ugly duckling. Smart buyers call it the open door. And one more thing about the Air King. This is the famous Domino's Pizza Rolex. Back in the late 1970s, the founder of Domino's started gifting Air Kings to franchise managers who hit big sales numbers. Real Rolexes with the Domino's logo on them. They still float around the used market today, and collectors actually hunt them. Next, the Explorer 36 at $7,900. This is the watch with the best origin story in the entire catalog. It descends directly from the Rolex watches worn on the 1953 Everest expedition, the one where Hillary and Tenzing became the first men to stand on top of the world. Ian Fleming, the man who created James Bond, wore an Explorer in real life. And the price behavior is just as clean as the design. It trades right around retail, sometimes even slightly under. No hype tax on history. Quick one. If these numbers are surprising you, this is what the whole channel is. Real prices, pulled fresh, not recycled from some 3-year-old blog post. Subscribe if you want the truth before you spend. Now the top half of the list where things get strange. The Oyster Perpetual 41, $7,050 at retail. The biggest no-date Rolex you can buy, updated just last year with slimmer lugs and a cleaner case. Simple watch, wild market. Standard dials trade around $9,500 to $10,000 used, thousands over retail. And then there's the turquoise dial. Rolex discontinued the turquoise 41 in 2022, right when a similar colored Patek sold at auction for crazy money, and the used price of this $7,000 watch spiked as high as $30,000 to $69,000. A waiting room watch became a lottery ticket, purely because of a color. The Oyster Perpetual 36 comes in at $6,750. Most watch people will tell you this is the sweet spot, the one size that fits basically every wrist. Standard dials trade around 10,000 used, so the premium is real. This is also the current prize in the Domino's program, complete with a tiny steel domino riveted onto the bracelet. And its discontinued party dial, the one covered in colorful bubbles called the Celebration dial, trades at 3 to 5 times retail. Rolex makes serious watches for divers and pilots, and the market is out here losing its mind over bubbles. Then the Oyster Perpetual 34, $6,400. Don't let the size fool you. 34 millimeters was the standard men's size in the 50s and 60s, and it's coming back hard as people get tired of dinner plate watches. It trades about 10% over retail and has gained about 7% in the last year alone. The vintage size comeback is real, and this is the cheapest way to ride it. The Oyster Perpetual 31, $6,300. And here's the twist. This modest mid-size model carries the biggest premium on the entire list. It trades over 31% above retail on the used market, 31% on the second cheapest Rolex in the catalog. The pistachio and turquoise dials push it into 5 figures. The cheapest watches are the hardest ones to buy at the sticker price. That's Rolex in 2026 in one sentence. And finally, the cheapest Rolex you can buy new, the Oyster Perpetual 28, $6,200. Straight from Rolex's own website, this is the official entry ticket. 28mm steel case, 55-hour power reserve, waterproof to 100 meters, the same DNA as watches 5 times the price. Used, it trades around $6,700, the smallest premium of all the small models. Remember that number from 2020? $5,100. The floor has risen more than $1,000 in 6 years, and it's not going back down. So that's the catalog, but I promised you a back door, and here it is. The cheapest way into Rolex ownership in 2026 isn't in the catalog at all. It's pre-owned. An older date, just 36 from the 90s or the 2000s, references 16200 or 116200, sells from reputable dealers between $5,500 and $7,000. Older Air Kings and 34mm Oyster Perpetuals dip near $5,000. Same crown, same build quality, thousands less than anything new. The used market cooled hard after the 2022 bubble popped, which means prices right now reflect actual demand, not speculation. None of this is financial advice, and a watch should be something you wear, not a stock you check. But if you've ever stared through a Rolex store window wondering what it really takes to get in, now you have the real numbers, not the fantasy ones. If this helped, subscribe and turn on notifications, because next up I am covering the Rolex watches you should never buy, and a few of them are on nobody's warning list. Drop a comment too. Which one of these 8 would you actually put on your wrist? See you in the next one.